You lift the warm cup every morning without thinking twice. It feels familiar, comforting, almost reassuring. But what if one small part of that routine is quietly working against the very strength that keeps you independent? Most people don't notice the change at first. It isn't a sharp pain. It's the slight hesitation when standing from a favorite chair, the extra care needed on icy steps, the hand that reaches for the banister a little sooner than it used to. Could those moments be connected in ways that rarely get discussed? For years, tea has been part of healthy living for millions of people. That's true. Yet the way it is prepared, the time it is consumed, and what accompanies it may matter far more after 60 than most people realize. Why do so few conversations ever mention that? Bones don't suddenly become fragile overnight. They respond to countless small habits repeated every single day. Some support them. Others quietly make the job harder. The difficult part is that these habits often feel completely harmless. Could one of yours be among them? If you've ever wondered why your joints feel stiffer on cold mornings, or why climbing apartment stairs seems more demanding than it once did, there's more to consider than simply getting older. The explanation may be surprisingly ordinary. This isn't about giving up your morning tea. Nor is it about fear. It's about understanding a few overlooked details that can support healthy aging alongside the advice of your healthcare professional. One simple adjustment could make more difference than most people expect. Before this conversation ends, you'll discover the quiet mistake many people unknowingly repeat every morning, why it may matter more after 60, and the gentle habit that many health professionals encourage to help support bone health. The last insight is often the one people wish they had learned years earlier. The first thing to understand is that tea itself is not the enemy. In fact, for many people, a warm cup of tea is part of a comforting daily routine. It can encourage hydration, provide a peaceful moment before a busy day, and even contain naturally occurring compounds that fit well within a balanced lifestyle. The question isn't whether tea is good or bad. The real question is whether the way we drink it changes as our bodies change with age. That small difference often goes unnoticed, doesn't it? After the age of 60, the body begins to process nutrients differently. Bone is living tissue. Every day, old bone is broken down while new bone is built. This natural cycle continues throughout life, but it gradually slows with age. The body becomes more dependent on consistently absorbing enough calcium, vitamin D, protein, and other essential nutrients. Even small interruptions to that process, repeated over many years, may have a noticeable impact. So what could a morning cup of tea have to do with that? One area researchers have explored is timing. Certain compounds found naturally in black and green tea can slightly reduce the absorption of non-heme iron from plant-based foods when consumed at the same meal. While calcium absorption appears to be affected much less, many health professionals still recommend paying attention to overall meal balance, especially for older adults who may already be at greater risk of nutritional deficiencies. Could a simple change in timing help your morning routine work with your body instead of against it? Think about a familiar breakfast. Perhaps a bowl of porridge, whole grain toast, or fruit with yogurt, followed immediately by a large mug of strong tea. For many households, this has been the routine for decades. There's nothing unusual about it. Yet if most of your essential nutrients arrive at the same time as several cups of very strong tea every single day, it may be worth discussing your diet with your healthcare professional, particularly if you've previously been told your iron levels or bone density need attention. Isn't it interesting how the smallest habits can become invisible simply because they've always been there? There's another detail that receives far less attention. Many people gradually replace other drinks with tea throughout the day. Water becomes less appealing. Milk appears less often on the table. Sometimes even balanced snacks are skipped because another cup of tea feels satisfying enough. None of these choices seem significant on their own. Together, however, they can slowly shape the nutritional picture over months and years. And that leads to another question many people never ask themselves. What exactly is no longer in the diet because tea quietly took its place? That question becomes even more important during winter. The days are shorter. Many people spend less time outdoors. Sunlight, which helps the body produce vitamin D, is already limited. If the diet also falls short in calcium or protein, bones may receive less of the support they need. None of this happens dramatically. It happens quietly, one season after another. Could that be why some people feel they have become less steady without ever noticing when the change began? Now consider what often goes into that morning tea. A generous spoonful of sugar, perhaps two, or a sweet biscuit that has become part of the ritual over the years. There is nothing wrong with an occasional treat. But when extra sugar becomes an everyday habit, it can gradually replace foods that provide more nutritional value. For people managing diabetes or trying to maintain a healthy weight, that daily routine deserves a second look. The surprising part is that many people focus on the tea itself while overlooking everything that comes with it. There is also the question of caffeine. Most healthy adults can enjoy moderate amounts without difficulty. However, consuming large quantities of caffeinated drinks throughout the day may affect sleep in some people. That matters because deep sleep is when the body carries out many of its repair processes. If you found yourself waking several times during the night or feeling less refreshed in the morning, it may be worth asking not only how much tea you drink, but when you drink it. Could the final cup of the evening be influencing more than you realized? Many older adults describe a familiar pattern. They wake feeling stiff. Their legs feel heavy on the first walk of the day. By evening, climbing the stairs seems just a little harder than it did a few years ago. It's tempting to blame age alone. Yet healthy aging is rarely shaped by one single factor. It is usually the result of dozens of small daily habits working together. The encouraging news is that small habits can also work in your favor. One simple approach supported by many healthcare professionals is to separate strong tea from meals that provide important nutrients, especially if you have concerns about iron levels. Enjoying tea an hour or two before or after eating may help reduce its effect on iron absorption while allowing you to keep the routine you enjoy. At the same time, making sure your meals include calcium-rich foods, adequate protein, and enough vitamin D, when appropriate and advised by your healthcare professional, can better support long-term bone health. Isn't it reassuring that meaningful changes often begin with adjustments that feel manageable rather than overwhelming? But there is one morning habit that many people overlook completely. It has nothing to do with the tea in your cup, yet it may influence your bones, muscles, balance, and confidence even more than the drink itself. Once you understand why, your morning routine may never look quite the same again. One of the simplest ways to support healthy bones after 60 begins before the kettle even boils. It starts with what is on the plate. A breakfast that includes a good source of protein, along with calcium-rich foods such as yogurt, milk, fortified plant alternatives, or cheese, gives the body valuable building blocks for maintaining muscle and bone. Add fruit or whole grains for fibre and energy, and the morning begins to work in your favor. Doesn't that sound more achievable than completely changing everything? Vitamin D deserves equal attention. Unlike calcium, it isn't just another nutrient. It helps the body absorb and use calcium effectively. As we grow older, producing enough vitamin D from sunlight becomes more difficult, especially during the darker months when time outdoors is limited. Many healthcare professionals recommend discussing vitamin D intake with patients over 60, particularly if they have risk factors for low bone density. The important point is not to guess, but to make informed decisions with professional guidance. Movement also plays a much bigger role than many people realize. Bones respond to gentle, regular activity. A brisk walk through the neighborhood. Climbing apartment stairs instead of taking the lift when it's safe to do so. Light resistance exercises using body weight or resistance bands. These aren't extreme workouts. They are everyday movements that remind the body to keep bones and muscles strong. The goal isn't perfection. It's consistency. Balance is another piece of the puzzle. Strong bones matter, but preventing falls matters just as much. A few minutes spent improving balance each day can help reduce the risk of injury. Standing on one foot while holding a sturdy chair, practicing slow heel-to-toe walking, or taking part in a supervised balance class can all become valuable habits. Many people notice improved confidence long before they notice physical changes. Isn't confidence one of the greatest forms of independence? Hydration is often overlooked as well. Many older adults don't feel thirsty as often as they once did, yet the body still needs adequate fluids. Tea contributes to daily fluid intake, but it shouldn't be the only drink throughout the day. Water, milk, or other nourishing beverages can help maintain overall health while supporting normal body functions. Sometimes the simplest advice is also the easiest to overlook. Finally, Remember that no single food or drink determines the future of your bones. Health is shaped by patterns, not isolated moments. A balanced diet, regular movement, sufficient sleep, sensible tea habits, and routine medical checkups work together over time. If you've had previous fractures, osteoporosis, persistent bone pain, or concerns about your nutrition, it's worth discussing them with your healthcare professional. Small changes made today can become the quiet foundation for stronger years ahead, and that's a future well worth protecting. There is something remarkable about the way the body responds to small, consistent choices, not in a single day, not even in a single month. But over years, those quiet decisions often become the difference between feeling confident on your feet and feeling uncertain with every step. That is why the habits we've discussed today matter so much. They are simple enough to begin tomorrow morning, yet meaningful enough to shape the years ahead. So, before you prepare your next cup of tea, pause for a moment. Ask yourself a few gentle questions. Have I eaten a nourishing breakfast? Am I getting enough calcium and protein? Have I spent a little time moving today? Could I enjoy my tea slightly later instead of with every meal? None of these questions require dramatic changes. They simply invite greater awareness. If you already enjoy tea every morning, there's no reason to feel guilty. Tea can absolutely remain part of a healthy lifestyle for many people. The goal isn't to remove a comforting tradition. The goal is to make that tradition work alongside your body's changing needs as you grow older. Sometimes the smallest adjustment becomes the one that quietly protects your health for years to come. And remember, every person's health is different. If you have osteoporosis, kidney disease, digestive conditions, or concerns about your bone health or nutrition, speak with your doctor or a registered dietitian. Personalized advice is always more valuable than one-size-fits-all recommendations, especially after 60. If today's conversation made you look at your morning routine in a new way, share it with someone who enjoys a daily cup of tea. A spouse, a friend, a neighbor, or a family member may benefit from hearing this information before small habits become bigger problems. Thank you for spending these few minutes with me. I hope you leave with reassurance rather than worry, and with the confidence that healthy aging is built one thoughtful choice at a time. If you'd like more practical, evidence-based tips to help you stay active, protect your independence, and enjoy life after 60, consider subscribing and joining us for the next conversation. Until then, take good care of yourself, and enjoy your next cup of tea with a little more knowledge and a little more peace of mind.